I'm Nicole Pajurka, one of Food City's registered dietitians. For a simple meal that doesn't require a lot of time or equipment, I'm going to show you this sheet pan recipe. It has plenty of vegetables and lean protein, and it cooks on a single sheet pan, so it makes for easy cleanup. To make this recipe, you'll need chicken thighs, 2 zucchini, a bell pepper, some russet potatoes, and an onion. And from the pantry, you'll want to grab some Italian seasoning, salt and black pepper, red pepper flakes, melted butter, and dried thyme and garlic powder. For kitchen equipment, you'll also want a sharp kitchen knife, a large baking sheet, cutting board, some measuring utensils, and a large and small mixing bowl. You'll want to be sure to start, as always, by washing your hands and cleaning up your kitchen space. And before I start anything else, I've already adjusted the oven rack to the upper middle position and preheated the oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the first step in the recipe is preparing the chicken thighs, which I've taken out of the packaging already. And I'm going to just dab with a paper towel on both sides to remove some of that moisture, which is going to result in a nice crispy skin. I've already kind of done some of this, so you're not going to see a lot of it come off. And then the next step is going to be just seasoning each side of the chicken thighs with some salt and pepper. Just for some light flavoring. We're going to add plenty of flavor later, but we want to make sure we season it well with both sides before it goes into the oven. And that is the first step of your recipe. So while my oven is still preheating and my chicken thighs are set aside, I'm going to start by preparing my vegetables. You want to be sure to wash all of the vegetables by rinsing them under running water. And then for the potatoes, you can certainly use a wire brush to rinse them to remove any extra dirt. And then be sure to dry any produce too. Now, to cut my produce, I'm going to use a sharp kitchen knife to make sure that my cutting board doesn't slip at all. I have placed a damp paper towel underneath to keep it from moving and slipping at all. And then the next thing I'm going to do is cut my zucchini. I'll start by removing the ends of each one, and I have prepared one zucchini already, so we'll use that for later. I'm going to cut it in half. And then with each half, with the flat side facing down, I'm going to slice the zucchini in just about 1/2-inch slices. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but to ensure even cooking, we do want them to be somewhat uniform in their thickness. So we'll do that and set that aside. So now that I've shown you how to cut the zucchini, I'm going to show you how to cut a potato. We want to make sure they're about uniform thickness, 1-inch cubes, so that they cook at an even rate with the zucchini. So I've started by cutting it in half and then placing the flat side down. We're going to cut it in half again. And then roughly 1 inch, we're going to start by just kind of rolling our knife for nice even cuts. And they look about that size, kind of like hash browns. Same thing on the other side. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so the next we will do a bell pepper. Now, we were just talking, everybody does this a little bit differently, so it's really what's most comfortable for you. You can start by removing the stem from the top, or what I like to do is just cut each side down, and then you'll have a little bit of that membrane to remove, but the seeds are what we want to avoid in the center. And I'm going to slice those in 1-inch pieces as well. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to make a delicious herb marinade for the vegetables. And I've got my mixing bowl here. I have added about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, some Italian seasoning, some red pepper flakes, and this is optional. It depends on your kind of spice level. If you like it, I like a little bit of a kick, so I've added about 1/2 teaspoon, and then some salt and pepper. I'm just going to whisk this together, and this is going to give our vegetables some great flavor. So those are ready to go. The next thing I'm going to do is just add my vegetables that I have cut to the bowl. Oops. And then we'll toss to combine. It's a little bit heavy on the potatoes, but that's okay. So we'll just mix this together, make sure they're really well coated. We want those to really absorb some of that flavor. So after they're combined, I am going to allow them to rest just for a few minutes so they absorb some of that flavor. And that is your third step of the recipe. So the next thing we're going to do is combine it all together. We're gonna add our vegetables that have been marinating in our herb and olive oil blend. We're gonna kind of scrape the bowl down to make sure that we get all of that nice flavor and oil drizzled all over the vegetables so they're nicely distributed. We wanna make sure they're in a single layer to cook evenly. And then we're just going to layer our chicken thighs right on top of the vegetables. Kind of nestle them in there. Spread them out. And then the last thing, I have created this herb butter, actually. It has a little bit of thyme. I've melted just 2 tablespoons of butter, some thyme, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. And I'm gonna take a brush and just lightly brush the top of the chicken thighs with the butter. You do want to make sure that the skin side is up when you lay the chicken thighs on top of the vegetables to avoid them from getting soggy, because we want a nice crispy skin. And then this tray is going to go directly into our 475-degree oven and cook for about 30 to 40 minutes. It comes out looking like this. We want to make sure that a thermometer that is inserted into the thickest portion of the meat registers at 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And voila, you have a quick sheet pan meal made in 30 to 40 minutes.